Hello and welcome back to Songs of Six. Here we are, welcome back. I have some fun stuff to do today. We've trained our army up here. They're significantly trained enough to the point where we're going to send them out. I'll go over everything once I send these guys out and we actually go to war. So we're sending these guys out. If you don't know how to do that, you basically need to have army supply depots stocked with the resources necessary, which is basically the rations and the clothing. Ideally, you want to have at least 2 or 3 guys working here so they can keep this stockpiled. This is how you keep your army supplied in the real world. If you don't have these resources here, for example, my guys have leather armor, swords, and shields, and you don't have them set as a army supply depot, and you also need to set them being pulled from a specific warehouse. Ideally, you want to have the warehouse right next door. I haven't had time as we're still working on moving forward, but I need to capture some regions to obtain some resources and help boost my early game economy. So basically, it's a good thing to kind of rush for at least an early settlement. Essentially, the guys will haul these here, and then someone will haul this to the world. Our guys in the world army here shall receive it. Now if I speed up time a little bit, you're gonna see all of these guys join the army. If they aren't trained to the point that they need to be trained, so let's say they need to be at 40% training, you'll see that it's gonna slow down, and we'll probably stop at about, like 141. If I look, there's probably a couple guys who are training. If they are leaving the city, they physically have to leave. So you can see they're returning equipment and they're grabbing things to leave the city. You can see, I think they're actually grabbing it for themselves. Saying they're returning the equipment. Where did these guys all just come from? But they do physically leave the map. They will walk, all of them, to the outskirts of the map and then leave. I'm just trying to see where they all went. I think that they're leaving. This guy, for example, might be, nope, he's a hunter. They are likely all at the army here, so we have 142. 8 of them haven't made it. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is you click this, and if you didn't know, you need to have created an army. You can just go to this little sword symbol and click recruit, and then an army pops up. You can name it, you can rename it, do whatever you want here. You can call it Fiend's Army. So right there, we know this is my army, and we can attack. You want to move it towards the spot with the sword. To declare war in the past on other versions of the game, you had to actually just attack their capital. Technically, I can go in here and declare war like this. They're not going to like it, and it's going to seem like a betrayal. But that's okay, because we need that. We need that money, and who cares about betrayal? Because, to be honest, they are a small, little, tiny kingdom, and we're about to beat the heck out of them. So there's 113, we have 140. It's saying that we're going to lose if we assault. We'll lose 140 and inflict 7 casualties. If you wait, it will pop to the next screen because the enemy will think that they have the superior numbers on you, and they'll win. In reality, they have better armor and better training, but they don't have any weapons. Alright, here we are. So garrison troops that we're fighting are basically mobs, like a militia mob. They are decently trained. They spend a lot of time training, but they have no good equipment. Meanwhile, our guys have double or 2 leather armor each, a shield, and a falcata. So they have a poke and a shield. You can see they only have the 2 leather armor. They have much better melee offensive and defense skill, 1.5 on both. And you can see we only have 0.8, 0.9. But that's okay, because the way we're going to do this is we're going to use our mass. And we're going to hit these Cretonians where the sun don't shine. So we're going to pause and then play. Or, sorry, play and then pause. That allows me to actually draw a line and see where I'm going. If you're attacking, and I've gone over this before, I'm going to go over it like again, like I've never gone over it before. If you're attacking and you want to draw where you want them to go, if you click this sword, they will attack, but they will start to do this weird shimmy back and forth that costs time and also what I'd call formation. You want to keep your guys in a formation. See how they break like this? That is something that you don't want to happen. You want them to stay in their formation here, and I'm actually going to have them speed up so that they can, if they hit, they actually do well. And if you hit 2 twice, you can go into quarter time speed in case you'd really like to slow it down and see what's going on. You could also click it up here if you'd like. And then I always pause a lot so that I can adjust, hold shift to see where they're going, and then I'm going to go like that. So there we go, and then we'll go to quarter time speed, and their clash begins. Boom, boom, boom. All of the guys are gonna hit. Everyone's hitting, and then what I do is this: I draw the unit over the enemy here. So anyone who is trying to get there will have to fight their way to that position, ideally killing the guy in front of them trying to get there. This, in my opinion, is the most effective strategy to win a battle. And you can see the morale on these guys is 3.4, and we have 5. Because we're surrounding them and we actually hit them pretty hard, their morale is dropping significantly. So their melee skill, although better, it's not going to come in handy when we're outnumbering them and we are also surrounding them. And yes, look at that. They closed in a little bit further. Once they kind of get what they're doing, they do it. If I was to click attack here, they sometimes will spread out and do weird things. It's best to just let them do their thing, and they will come and do what they need to do. Unit on unit combat is the best in my opinion. If you, for example, have multiple units, if I had another guy, I'd flank from the side against this other unit. But you want to have 2 of the same size units fighting each other. So it looks like it's going to be kind of a slog for a second here, so we're going to speed time up a little bit. Lost a few guys, but we're killing them. Morale is higher. And it looks like they aren't getting many more kills on us. We lost about 9 guys so far. Jeez, these are some tough-ass Cretonians. What are you guys eating? They are definitely not on a vegetarian diet over here. Look at these guys. The Cretonians, though, like I always tell people, they aren't a joke. They actually can hold their own for quite a while. You need to make mobs. The larger the mob, the more morale they have. The smaller the mob, the less morale they have. So if you send a 40-man group of Cretonians, there we go. 40-man group of Cretonians at the enemy, of course they're gonna fucking collapse. They don't have anybody in their group. Yes. We could execute them, we could release them, or we could capture them. We don't want prisoners, so we're just gonna release them. And we're gonna move on. We're gonna capture this, we're gonna mercy them, and we're gonna occupy. Since I do not have any admin, I can build the base level. Jake built this and allowed it for now. I don't know if it will change in the future. And you can see we have the option to build a few things. We have 6 workforce to kind of work with here, and most buildings like this one here only cost 3. So you could build 2 of the agricultural, or you could build 1 of the kind of advanced buildings here. Clay pit would actually be pretty dang, and I'm actually going to go look at my world resources. Cotton might be a good one. The idea is, though, that if, for example, I get this going, I don't need all of those guys living and working on those fields. So, matter of fact, I think that we'll do this so that the stuff that's coming in will be perfectly useful for what we need it to be. And then it looks like we did replenish our numbers, or we are replenishing our numbers. So all of the 150 guys who left obviously physically left my city and went out to the world map. So I needed hundreds and hundreds more. Ah, that's what it was. I see. They came and they swore fealty, and as they come, they have clothing on. They took their clothing off, and they actually put the clothing away. Ah, that's what that big group of people was doing. Ah, I see. Now, let's get to the city at hand here. So, as mentioned, we have our grain and stuff coming in. So once I've got a good supply of grain, I'll probably remove these and start putting in paper makers and administration buildings. Those two guys, probably going to need about 30 to 50 guys working at those two buildings, but they will keep it so that I can get grain and other things like cotton coming in through the fucking roof. Like, we'll never need it ever again. As you can see, we still haven't finished the city. Still in kind of like a shell stage. It may all just get removed too. There's always that possibility that I could just clear it and rebuild. I've done that many times in many games, but I kind of like this setup. You see, we've got our beautiful little service zone, and if you look, I'm very proud of this. No noise on any portion of this section here. I didn't know that taverns emitted noises, but that technically makes sense. So we probably will move this tavern. I have a tavern, and the tavern was creating, or we were creating alcohol through the refinery or the brewery, but we couldn't keep up with the amount of people who were using it, and also the grain supply was running short, our pottery, and of course coal. So typical problems you run into when you start brewing. You just can't keep up with the amount of resources you need to actually brew. I don't know. It's okay though, because we've got new territory, and I'm not really concerned about that. As I said, if you look, we literally, oh well, you can't see now, but we always have like 150, 180 immigrants who want to come into the city. Everyone is very happy. We have two nobles, the noble of master building and the master of university, so that we have access to increased capacity for carrying as well as increased durability for buildings, kind of reducing the amount of cost that you have to use the stone and wood for. But eventually, obviously, once I capture all these other regions, a lot of these guys are pretty powerful, like this guy here, Ducal Spalade. They are pretty powerful. I wouldn't want to fuck with them. But other guys around me, they might get the wrath, because they captured all my regions, and I'd have to technically go over here or to another portion of the map, like over here or even further over here, somewhere over there, to get a region to actually start getting more stuff coming in. So I'm gonna have to start being an aggressive human, and that's okay, because we have lots and lots of humans, and we can keep growing and keep growing. So we have our military zone here. This I'd call the basis of a starter military zone. We have the smithy making the falcatas. We have the carpenter. He's making leather shields. And then we have the tailor. They're making leather armor. Obviously, we do not have any leather. And actually, now that I think about that, that might be even better. Now, we're not going to get as much from there. We're probably going to want to go for one of these or one of these ones. And then we can start getting leather sent to us. We can remove those 15 hunters I have. They're pulling leather in. So the leather gets brought over here. We also have coal and iron. That's getting used in the smithy. We have the ration maker here, who's grabbing bread from here. And we also have the warehouse. This is specifically ration-based warehouse, so that they have extra space for all the stuff they need, and herbs and everything. Then we have a hospital, physician, and a warehouse for the physician's opiates. I technically should probably put a couple slots for fabric too, so the hospital has quick access to it, but it's not too far. I believe it's right here, so they only have to like walk across the street. We have our weaver who's been upgraded, our tailor upgraded. Everything is pretty much been upgraded, except for the charcoaler, who I need to get the technology for. I'm working on trying to get some more of these buildings, so I decided that the libraries will be on this side, the military will be on kind of this side, at least mostly in this area. We'll have like a warehouse in here, but most of the training grounds will be in here. And we're also going to need to get archery range. Lots and lots of archery ranges, because humans aren't very good at melee combat, as you saw. So it's better to just kind of shoot people and then beat them up as they're bleeding and dying from the archery. So that's the goal with the humans here. Also, let's upgrade this so that they all match. And obviously, like I said, this service zone is very well put together. We have 2 large guard posts, and now, for some reason, oh yeah, I was going to say, our law is now not working. But before, I had it sitting at 100%. It was sitting very well at 100%. I think it's because I have over 600 people now, and a lot of the people spend their free time out here in the fields. So as they're out here in the fields, they get into fights and violence shit and kill each other. So that's kind of what's happening. You can see that the coverage for that zone is not here. Every other spot has pretty decent coverage. We have little guard posts in the clay pit zone. I also removed their services, or most of the services, from over here, like the food stall, so that they have to come over here, allowing for a larger food stall, better access. The larger the food stall, the better the access. That's kind of how I see it. So, for example, this guy here, he's surprisingly doing well, but the idea for me is that I need to build a bigger part of, like, the city over here, or get iron and ore delivered to me, which I could potentially do if I have a guy nearby. This guy here has ore, and he might be a good one to take down. If you know what I'm doing, I'm holding down right click to see each one of these regions has a resource. Not all regions have a resource. Not all regions are created equal. Yeah, so a lot of these guys don't have ore. You can get ore to be delivered to you. You can see, like, I can have it. You don't get as much. You get 0.28 compared to what you'd normally get. So the production would be 63, but that's 0.28 of that 63. So not a lot, but a decent amount. Not enough to hold you by if you really wanted to. I'm personally of the mind to do this, at least for now, so that I could pull a lot of these grain laborers out of the fields, because there's over 40 guys in these fields, and to be honest, I don't need them anymore. I'm gonna remove these 2 guys here, and hopefully we'll be able to hold on to that significant boost that we had of grain here. I always want to see it in the green here. I don't want to see it down in the red with no grain, because that's when you start to die. You can see we have 23 days of food. We have our export depot. He's trading stone, anything cut stone, basically, for above 75. He's pulling it from here and selling it to anyone. We also are selling opiates that are brought here, and we're selling them for anything above 100. Trying to get a little bit of extra cash here and there. We have our little import zone for the grain. In case the grain drops below what I have, we have an import depot just in case to pull grain and put it in here. This is the warehouse for the grain. Speaking of which, I'll upgrade that. It's always best to upgrade food houses or warehouses before you do other buildings, in my opinion, because you're always going to want more food space. So we have space for 30,000 bread, which is really, really good. We're never going to run out. We have our labs, 2 labs here, and then we have another lab over here. So that's a total of, minus the people who are training or who aren't here, roughly 100, or roughly, yeah, 100 guys. 102 guys. So we're doing really, really good. Really, really good. And I'm looking forward to the next episodes, as I've got a lot to do. Spent a couple hours today just kind of doing my thing, trying to grow, expand. And, you know, it's been interesting V.66 experience so far, because V.65 was very smooth and I had a lot of fun, and V.66 has been a up and down battle, especially with other races. But as the humans, I've just been having a blast. And like I was saying in the last episode, if you are new and you don't know what you're doing and you really want to get into Songs of Six, play as the humans and keep in mind that each race, although they're not the best at everything, they are good at everything. They can do it all. They aren't the best at it. That's the point. So you do need them to go and start harvesting things like clay. You do need them to go and start harvesting things like ore and other things like stone, wood, etc. If, for example, the tilapia are the best at wood cutting, it doesn't mean you don't want to have a woodcutter. You still have the same skills as every other race, and you still produce wood. This will help produce passive income for the meantime until later on. Still kind of works for the clear cutting. As you can see, we have tons and tons of wood. But Jake has made it so that this is a little bit easier to use, and you can even get better technology. So there's a lot of good technology for this one. I also wanted to comment on this. So edible crop optimization. When I was playing, I initially just jumped straight to the grain farm bonus. As this is a bonus, obviously it gives you a better boost to the grain, 0.1. I didn't really think about it, but I wanted just grain, so I jumped over here and I started spinning a lot of technology. This one is considerably more cheaper, so you can basically put a lot of your resources or your technology into this one first. Even if you're not using, let's say, the mushrooms or the vegetables, it still gives you a 0.1, which is the same as this for much cheaper. So keep in mind that there are cheaper options usually for certain things. For example, like this. Hunting is a really cheap option. Maintenance, spoilage, really cheap things that can help boost your city's overall potential. Because if everything is spoiling and all your food is going bad, then you can't build a surplus. You can see that I have 38% of it goes bad per year in my bread. If I could drop that down to 5%, I would have 100,000 bread. There's no doubt in my mind I'd have so much bread. I'd never need bread ever again. So the goal is to keep doing that, and as humans you get so much access to technology and my tools, and somebody mentioned this as well. I was so befuddled, like I was just like, I don't even know what I'm saying. I can't even think. This here skill thing, or this tool option, is amazing. It's awesome. You can see exactly how many tools you need for the jobs that you have, and specifically you can change it from here, and this is under the little hammer icon. I didn't know if this was in V.65, but this is in V.66 for sure. You can adjust it right here, and you can see that the amount of tools we're creating, we obviously can't keep up with this, but let's say you had thousands and thousands of spare tools. If you click this, you see, oh, okay, so the amount of laboratory workers I have at 7 ticks, it's going to be 581. At this, it's 664. Everyone in this entire lab will have a tool. I think it's 0.8 tools. So that's like the total of the thing. So everyone in this will have a full tool plus some. I don't know if that means they literally only got one tool, they're carrying 8 different tools, but that's how it works basically. They have the boost of the tools from that. And if I go and I hover over lab, you can see the target. And if you look at the bottom there, the additive, you have your upgrade, your tools, which is 0.48. So the upgrade and the tools themselves give you a boost equivalent to themselves. So that's literally 0.1 more, or 1.0 more valuable already just by having tools and an upgrade. So if you get and this is exponential, so the bigger the laboratory, the better the laboratory, the more people work in there, the more tools, the better it works, the more technology you get. So you're always going to want to have tools allocated to laboratories first, in my opinion, especially as humans. You always want to rush lab upgrades and tools for labs, because the humans can significantly benefit, as well as the university headmaster, who I think you can see they have a boost of the nobility 0.1, but that's only 1/5 of what you get from the tools. So he's not doing as much as you'd like him to do. Oh, look at that. I love these little carts that they're pushing around. I was also watching someone get executed. He actually like grabbed their head. It looked like he waved it around. So it looks like there's some new little animations here. Let's actually execute somebody here. Let's execute this guy. Oh wait, you're a murderer. You should be murdered. Or yes, you should be murdered actually. You should be executed. I wish that you could set specifically for what crime gives you what punishment. I have mentioned it to Jake, and I don't know if he's thought of it or not. But you can see, look at they have a different like texture, and this looks like something that Craster has been working on, I think. So if you see the executioner will come over eventually. Let's see. Come on. Where you at? Executioner? Where are you? Sir? Where's one executioner in this whole town? I'm gonna speed it up until he gets over here. This guy's just gonna sit here for the rest of the time. Usually the executioner's just spending his free time right here. Where the heck is he? It says we even have one too. It's not that we don't have the worker. Here, let's put it up to like max. Hopefully we'll get a new... Jesus. Nobody wants to kill this guy. Somebody come over here and kill this man. For murder. Mila's just been sitting at the stock for about 3 fucking days now. Hey, if anything, they'll starve to death on the stock. Or on the execution ground here. What the hizzle? Oh, I missed it! No! Fine, we'll kill you too. I will kill anyone. I want to see the execution. Where's the dang old frickin'... I can't find him. You usually hover over the job site and then you'll see the worker. Oh, there he is, there he is. Ilaria, where have you been, Ilaria? God damn it, man. There's blood underneath. See the slap, and then he's dead. But they didn't do the thing they did before. Ah, dang it. It was a waste of time. They like stood there and grabbed something off of him and like waved it around, and then they walked away. I have been noticing a lot more new animations though, so it looks like alongside the new facial emojis and all of these, or not emojis, character sheets, you get a lot of other animations for characters. I don't know if that's to do with Jake or Craster or both, but there's definitely a lot of different random things happening that I didn't notice before, and they weren't happening before either. So it's definitely new for sure. Unless I'm crazy, unless I've got the Berenstein Bear effect. Holy crap! I can't even talk today. Looks like that's the sign that I need to wrap it up. As I said, I've been playing for like the last 2.5 hours. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.